Welcome, everybody. We're going to give everyone just a couple of seconds to join, but we really appreciate you joining today's Marketing Advantage webinar. Um, we will, again, just give everyone a couple of seconds to join, and then we will get started. Appreciate all of those joining now. Um, Again, today is a great day to join our webinar. I'm so happy to have the marketing team on the call with me. And we're excited to have you guys here with us today. I think I will go ahead and just get us started, and everyone can kind of trickle in as they will. But thank you for joining our second quarter webinar. We are going to be covering marketing in your community. Some of our pre-need agents, you guys may have heard part of this during last week's Agent Edge meetings. Those are a great resource for you guys if you aren't already joining those and you are in our pre-need division. I really would recommend attending. But we are going to kind of elaborate on some of that a little more, so I think this will still be useful for you guys. And you can always find for our pre-need people, you can find a link to those bi-monthly meetings in our weekly newsletter. So today we're going to dive deeper into how you can utilize community groups to reach more people. First off, I'm actually going to hand it to Shawnee on our team, and she's going to give you an overview of what community-based prospecting actually looks like.
So community-based prospecting. Next slide. All right, so most of us waste a ton of energy chasing down single people one by one. It can be exhausting. So today we are talking about community-based marketing. The whole secret is to stop looking for individual sales and start looking for ready-made groups. When you find where a group of people already are, you can connect with dozens of them at once. It is way easier and can be much faster. Next slide. All right, so community-based prospecting is all about building real relationships in the places people already feel comfortable and connected. Instead of only relying on cold calls or online leads, we go directly into the community and become visible and helpful. The goal is not to walk in trying to sell something immediately. It's about building trust first. When people see you consistently showing up, helping, answering questions, and being involved, they become more comfortable working with you and referring others to you later. Next slide. The types of communities you can tap into. So there are many different communities you can connect with, like churches, senior centers, neighborhood groups, and even people you already know. These places work well because trust and relationships are already there. Sometimes your best opportunities come from your own network of friends, family, or past coworkers. The main goal is to connect with communities where people already gather and support each other. Next slide. All right, so one of the biggest benefits of community outreach is building trust. People are more comfortable working with someone they've met in person. It also helps create long-term relationships, referrals, and confidence over time. Plus, it feels more natural and less stressful than cold calling. Community outreach helps open the door to new relationships. And now I will pass it along to Jackie.
Okay, thank you so much, Shawnee. So next I am going to be talking about building connections with community leaders. So before you can speak to a community group, you first need to identify which groups you want to work with and also determine who you need to connect with in those organizations. So when you're identifying groups, focus on organizations that prioritize things like helping others, supporting the community, protecting their members. These organizations are going to be more receptive to your message and more willing to let you speak to their members. There are a bunch of groups in your community that can be great opportunities. These include things like, churches, synagogues, temples, other religious organizations, civic groups, senior centers, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and also like veterans organizations are great. Those veterans organizations are really great because it gives us a chance to build awareness about what is and isn't covered under their veterans burial benefits. A lot of people aren't aware of that, and that gives us a good conversation that is also providing some really useful information. So once you've identified a group that you'd like to work with, then you're going to want to determine like who within the organization can help you coordinate that event. So this is going to vary a little bit by your organization, but for religious groups, this might be, a pastor or a faith leader. For civic groups, they might have a board member that you can connect with. Senior centers typically have maybe a director or an activities manager. And for nursing homes, they also have generally someone that's responsible for resident activities. That's who you'd want to seek out. And for veterans organizations, that will vary a little bit by group. But again, look for a board member, look for if they elect, a president on a regular basis or something like that. So once you've identified these people and the group that you want to speak with, make sure when you're starting those conversations, you really lead with service. Approach the organizations as a resource partner. So focus the discussion on education, planning, community support. Groups are going to be much more receptive if the goal is clear to help families, their members prepare and make informed decisions rather than just being like, hey, I would like to go sell to this group of people. It's also important to focus on building relationships first. So don't expect a brand new group to immediately allow you to present to their members. Familiarity does build credibility, and community leaders are going to be more likely to work with someone that they already know and trust. So start by thinking about the connections that you already have. Reach out to groups that you may already belong to, or maybe organizations that you already have a relationship with. These groups are going to be naturally more likely to work with you because they know you. Another important strategy is just to go ahead and get more involved in your community. So attend events, volunteer, support fundraisers. All of these help create introductions that build relationships and can lead to future presentation opportunities. When you are speaking with people, make sure you introduce yourself through your story before you're kind of jumping into any sort of sales presentation. Share your why and help them understand why you would want to present to their group and what the benefits of that would be. It is also helpful to learn about an organization's mission before you start that approach. So during a conversation with a leader, ask questions, about the group's needs, about their goals. Think about, what topics are members most concerned about? What events does the group already host? How could maybe your seminar support their existing mission? By tailoring both your pitch and your presentation to the specific group, it makes them more likely to invite you in, and it also helps you, connect more effectively with their members once you're there. Just taking a look at kind of what that might look like in a couple of situations. Say you're presenting to a local VFW, discuss things like veterans benefits, explaining again what those will and will not cover. If you're presenting to maybe a senior center, focus more on topics that appeal to active seniors. So things like financial planning and preparing for future expenses. If you are maybe at a Catholic church, you might discuss topics such as, cremation versus traditional burial, explain how coverage can be customized to align with both their personal preferences and also, some of what their faith says about those things. If you were maybe presenting to an immigrant group, you could discuss planning for burial in the person's country of origin and how preparing for those expenses can help their family honor those wishes. By presenting information that is specific to the group, it's going to be relevant to your audience, and you're much more likely to build meaningful connections with the people that you serve. I am now going to hand it off to Maddie, and she is going to talk a little bit more about how to have those conversations once you've established that initial connection with leadership.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackie. So we can head on to the next slide here. So before you start this conversation, come prepared. Before you reach out, make sure you have a good idea about your presentation already set, or at least a list of presentation ideas. If the organization lead or planner asks about what type of content you are going to present on, you want to have an answer for them. Be understanding of people's time. You have the knowledge and experience to share a short and sweet version of your topic. And share a testimonial if you need an emotional pull during this conversation. And always make sure to stay engaged with the planner and show them all about the importance of pre-planning and life insurance coverage and how you as an agent can give others in your community peace of mind during difficult times. Whether you're having this conversation face to face or via email, have a few things ready or on hand during this conversation. If you're having it face to face and in person, I would suggest have a few of these in your hand besides your script, just so that you're able to hand them over while you're chatting with them. So one of those things is your business card. Obviously, you want them to contact you with a date and time or more information on presenting to their group. A gift of love booklet or peace of mind brochure to show that we already have the pieces available to help the planning start now. An example of an event flyer, either one you create on your own or one you find in the marketing cart, as an example of what info you may be speaking on during your presentation and how you are going to market the event to get people in seats. And also your social profile can be really important. If you post regularly, this shows you are active in getting your community's attention and trying to connect with them in other ways. So this all starts with having this first initial conversation with the organization lead or planner and building a basic script before reaching out in person, whether that be via email or phone call, will set you up with a good base for this initial conversation about presenting to their group. You want to plan this out sort of the same way that you do when you're talking to a family member, a referral, or a new lead. So here are some ideas that you can put into your script and some key points to continue this conversation. So share your story, share why you love to help people in your community, how these presentations and conversations can provide real value to members without pressure or worry. Your main goal of presenting your story and knowledge is to help people understand how to protect their families when life changes unexpectedly, and to answer any questions that some people are scared to ask. You have the resources and knowledge that people can actually use starting today. Strong communities are built through connection. By bringing you in to speak, it's creating an opportunity for you all to support one another, share knowledge, and strengthen relationships. You can use a short testimonial again as a pull during to pull in some emotion during this conversation. As we all know, testimonials can be a great resource when sharing your story and why you do what you do. And lastly, thank them for their time, that you appreciate this opportunity and continue to show gratitude no matter what answer they give. This is a networking moment, no matter whether they say yes or no. They may not want or need an educational presentation at the moment, but there may be an opportunity later down the line. And make sure to keep communication open and give them the items we discussed previously so they have something to look back on. So now that you have your script ready, let's chat about the rest of this conversation. Spend the conversation building trust, creating a relationship, and showing the value of your presentation and your mind. You as agents have a plethora of knowledge, testimonials, and value that you can share with your community. This is your chance to provide useful information that helps families feel more prepared and financially informed. Your goal is to bring value to the members of society and become a trusted community resource. Now, after you have gotten the okay and the thumbs up from the coordinator to set up your presentation, and you have that date and time set, make sure you stay in contact with the coordinator of the group. Keep them informed of any updates, changes, or new information you are going to bring to the event. Make sure you're continuing to promote the event, whether that's on your social media, word of mouth, or putting up flyers around town. And don't be afraid to send a physical or digital flyer to the coordinator as well to send throughout their group. After the event is successful and amazing, don't forget to continue your outreach. Contact the coordinators to thank them for their time and this opportunity to connect with those in your community. Provide resources you shared during your presentation and anything else that they can send over to their group or have on hand if they have any follow-up questions. Ask how the seminar was received. It's great to understand how others perceive your presentation and find ways to improve for your next opportunity. And of course, do not forget to follow up with any leads from the event. These seminar events are a great way to find new outreach avenues and the opportunity to create long-term relationships. Now I'm going to hand it off to Camille to chat about making the most of your event.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. So Strategic prospecting isn't just about showing up. It's about showing up, but with intent. Uh, to turn your community connections into real opportunities, you need more than just a smile. You need a system. So now we are going to talk about how to create that system. Connecting with your audience. The how isn't just as important as where. Remember, you aren't here to push a product. You are here to provide value. Before you even talk, you even walk into the place, and ask yourself, how can I solve these people's problem today? How can I help them today? Adjust your tone, your energy, and even your material that you're bringing. It's not the same to talk to an older person that might um, that may be planning for their death than maybe a younger couple that may not see this as necessary. So be ready before. Next slide. Okay, so now let's talk about the preparation checklist. Before you head out to the event, don't leave anything to a chance to not be done before. So this is a checklist that you can use to remember everything. So the first thing is what I'm going to do with the presentation. Is it a formal presentation, or does a casual random table just chatting with them will be better for this event? Um, are you bringing sources that actually answer their questions, or just generic flyers that will end up in the trash? What type of material are you taking to the event? Then also think about if it's appropriate to have a snack or something fun, an activity that you can do with them. Is that appropriate or is it not? And finally, always ask, what does this group need from you today? What do they need to get your trust? So next slide. And consistency is the secret to build authority. So when you show up like a professional. Use all those logo branded materials that we have on Asian Portal. We have a lot of flyers that we have created on the marketing team for you to go to the event and be ready. So use these instead of maybe creating something with ChatGPT. We have everything here. If you have questions, you can ask. And finally, let's go to the next slide. Follow up. Remember, the fortune is on following up. Follow up 24 hours after. The impact in your presence fades really fast. So reach out within the first day. Don't send a generic email or text. Reference something to the conversation you have with the person. Something that you spoke with them, put it on the message or email. And finally, have a clear call to action. Don't just say, hope to see you again, or I will wait for your call. Give them a call to action. You can say something like, would you like to schedule a call on Thursday to go over the details? When you work properly, leads from seminars are an incredibly way to reach to new clients. So do all these steps and you can find new clients. But remember, you're not selling, you are finding. And
Thank you.
now
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, thank you so much, Camille. And to everybody else on the team that helped share today. Again, these sort of educational events are a really great way for you to take advantage of existing connections, to present to a large group of people at once, and hopefully to, sell a lot of insurance. and help protect these people and their families. We will go ahead and open it up for questions. If you guys would like to add those to the chat, we will give you a moment to do that. And let me make sure that you guys, I believe everyone can comment in that chat now. I will, while we are kind of giving people a chance to ask any questions you might have. I will say, again, Camille mentioned it briefly, but if you're looking to host an event and you are looking for some kind of outreach material, flyers or things you can use on social, things like that, the agent cart on Agent Portal is a really great resource. There are things you can download there. There are things that we have editable Canva templates, which are really great because then you can add your, event details directly on the things and change things around as much as you need. So say you need, a photo of a military veteran to kind of, use it, customize it for your event. That's something you can easily switch out. Francis in the chat asked for if we provide table costs. So I will say we've got a couple of different divisions on the call with us today. This does vary a little bit by division. For those of you in our final expense or loyalty sales divisions, yes, there is an event supplies section of the cart that has a tablecloth. You can purchase those there. For those of you in our pre-need division, we actually recommend getting materials branded with the funeral homes logo on that, since the customer is more likely to recognize the funeral home name than us. If that's something you're interested in, I really encourage you to talk to your manager. They can help you kind of get that sorted out. Glad we could answer that question for you, Francis. If there's anyone else that does have a question, we'll give you guys just a couple of minutes to get those in the chat. And David said no questions at the moment, but thank you for taking the time and sharing information on how to manage and work our community. You are more than welcome, David. It is a great way to approach things, and we want to give you guys all the tools that we can to make that easier. So
we do have, let's see, two things in the Q&A. Marcus asked earlier, will this deck and or recording be made available to us? Yes. The presentation and recording will be sent out in a webinar recap email tomorrow, most likely. And then you'll also be able to find this presentation and recording, as well as our past quarters webinars on the training page to have a look back on.
was there a second question in the chat or in the Q&A?
Yes. Ethel asks, the marketing materials that was shown, is it printable or just through the portal?
There are actually a combination of materials available to you. So we do have some things in the cart when you just look in the brochures section of the cart that you can actually, purchase, and the home office will ship those to you, physical things that you can order there. A number of those do also have download links on the description of the item where you can download it directly in the cart if, say, you need something in hand that afternoon. And then there is a second section of the cart which is called, I believe, marketing materials. It'll just be, how there's that list down the side with blue links. If you click on that, there are a bunch of additional materials. For some of those are, PDFs and flyers and that sort of things. We do also have a bunch of images for social. Those are all available as instant downloads, or in some cases as a link to a Canva template. Canva is a third-party website that helps with, editing things really easy. So I would encourage you guys, go click around in the cart, see what's available to you. We really encourage you to do that. I will say in the chat, I also had George ask what website. That is going to be directly in your agent portal. So you should have access to that already, but if not, if you hit securitynationallife.com and click on the agent portal button at the very top of that, that'll take you there. You will have to log in with your username and password. That comes in your new agent onboarding email if you need access to that. And then it is just in the left-hand column, that menu, click marketing, and then we'll be an agent cart. Nick, send me an email and I'm happy to work with you further. And for Lawrence asks if for final expense agents, it is good to go to nursing homes. I will say a lot of the nursing homes work, I know our pre-need side of things has a lot of success with reaching out to those because they are kind of planning minded. With nursing homes on the final expense side of things, that is an older customer. Obviously, you do have, you know, it is easier for you to sell to a younger customer where they're going to have lower premiums. So it is a consideration that is typically an older and more health, has more health complications. But it can still be a good place to meet people. And one thing I would say is that the people staying in a nursing home are not the only people in a nursing home. If you are going to these events, think about the other people you're interacting with. So the staff behind the desk, the nurses taking care of it, all of these people need coverage. And a chance to talk to one group of those people does kind of open up that conversation with other people in the room as well. So, and really quick, George also asked what the number to our company is. Let me give you our agent hotline. That is 855-765-4765. That is open Monday through Friday. So if you are an agent of ours and are in need of assistance, I would encourage you to give us a call. So, okay. Maddie, was there anything else in the Q&A before we go ahead and wrap this up?
Nope, Ethel just thanked us.
Okay, thank you,
That's
Ethel.
it. All I got.
Okay, well, as Maddie mentioned, we will go ahead and send a recap in the next day or two. You guys can keep an eye out for that. And if you do have additional questions, reach out using the agent hotline that I just mentioned. We are always happy to help. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks.